Hello, Internet Magic Man here from MMOBomb.com, bringing you our top 17 for 2017, where we look at some of the most anticipated free-to-play titles coming in the next year. Now, while some titles may be in beta right now and others may just be a full-blown mystery as far as gameplay goes, we expect each of these titles to hit full-blown release, or at the very least some sort of more generally open testing phase in the next year. Now, time plays into our list though, so while a title may be highly anticipated, if we're predicting we'll see it sometime in 2017, it may be a bit lower on the list for now, while titles that are currently in tested or scheduled to release very early in 2017 may be a bit higher on the list. Now, be sure to check out our article version of the top 17 most anticipated MMOs, which includes even more information about each title over at MMOBomb.com. And unless otherwise noted in a lower third, all footage from trailers is the property of each game's developer or publisher. Well, that legalese out of the way, let's kick off our 17 most anticipated free-to-play titles for 2017. Number 17, Fortnight, Epic Games. I remember seeing Fortnight as a featured item in a Game Informer magazine back in 2014, and given that the first reveal of the title was way back in 2011, it's surprising to be listing this as a 2017 anticipated title. Now, described by Tim Sweeney, the founder of Epic Games, as a Minecraft meets Left 4 Dead game, Fortnite tests groups of co-op players with building and surviving in a sandbox world where they must build and fortify their base by day and survive in that base against zombies by night. Random generation of environments, crafting, and action all blend together as you try to outlast the undead for 14 days. Hence, Fortnite. Anyway, here's to hoping that a 5 to 6 year long development leads to a free-to-play success for developers People Can Fly and Epic Games. Number 16, Project Nova, CCP. Given that Dust 514 never really lived up to players' expectations when CCP brought it out on the PlayStation 3, it's okay to be a little skeptical of the spiritual successor, Project Nova. This time around, CCP wants to focus on making a great free-to-play shooter first, and an extension of the EVE Online universe second. In an interview with Polygon, Snorri Arnson, senior director of Project Nova, said, "That's where we want to be. We want to be perceived as a really good free-to-play shooter. Sometimes you sit down and say, holy shit, that's free-to-play?" Now, will the cards fall into place for CCP this time around? Well, switching to PC play is no doubt a huge plus, but given the recent rumors regarding CCP's financial state and sale considerations, we'll just have to wait and see. Number 15, Cloud Pirates, Alad's team and My.com. Personally, I have to say how surprised I was with my initial hands-on time with this next title. At number 15, we have Cloud Pirates, the free-to-play team-based airship fighting game from Alad's team and My.com. With a ton of customization in both crew and airship design, the possibilities seem endless for those of a design mind. Multiple modes add a variety of gameplay options, and the game feels smooth to play in all the early testing. Granted, being released in other parts of the world already probably helps with gameplay polish. If you wanted to get to Alad's online endgame to do the astral battles, you may just want to skip that whole nasty grind and hop into Cloud Pirates when it hits open testing next year. Number 14, Total War Arena, Creative Assembly, and Wargaming. A favorite of MMOBomb writer Jason Winter, the Total War series has been around since about 2000, but Total War Arena marks the first foray into the free-to-play world for developer The Creative Assembly. With aspects of both MOBA, but really more real-time strategy mixed in, Total War Arena brings multiplayer battles to the forefront as you take on your opponents using some of history's greatest commanders and their armies. Get to the high ground when testing starts back up under Wargaming's new Alliance game publishing label sometime next year. Number 13, Crossout, Gaijin Entertainment. Mad Max meets familiar tank battling games as Gaijin Entertainment and Targum Games bring you the free-to-play title Crossout. While players will no doubt love the feeling of blowing their enemies' creations apart, the customization of your own vehicles where Crossout probably could shine even more. With an in-depth creation and modification system, players will be creating their own death machines, some viable and some not so viable, and taking them into the fray in both PvP and PvE content. Yep, that's right, the game does include PvE content with AI bots and even player-created bosses to square off against. Cue Tina Turner singing Thunderdome and wait for that cue to pop as the game is already in testing, and buying a Founders Pack can get you access now, or you could just wait for open beta. It's currently scheduled for the first quarter of 2017. Number 12, Dreadnought, Studio Jaeger and Greybox. Developed by Jaeger and published by Greybox, Dreadnought takes team-based combat to a whole new scale. Literally. Using massive capital ships, players jump into the now 8v8 battles in the sky and even in space. Each ship has a different core function, and playing your specific role well will ultimately decide if your team wins or loses in this free-to-play title. You may have played this title already, as testing was pretty open, but with the addition of PlayStation 4 support, Dreadnought will open the doors officially next year. Number 11, Lost Ark, Smilegate. Now, Smilegate teased Lost Ark to a wide audience back in G-Star 2014, and since then, the game has been on most anticipated lists all over the internet. Combining a ton of classes with Diablo-esque ARPG gameplay in a fully fledged MMORPG world, players will take on one of many classes and slash their way through story, venture out on side quests, expand their crafting repertoire, and so much more when this game sees the light of day. So why so low on our list? Well, Korean testing seems to be taking longer than anyone thought, and with Lineage Eternal on the horizon as well, it's hard to say if Lost Ark will keep the audience that's clamoring for it interested if this game doesn't start making some real release progress soon. All eyes will be on the Korean version of the game, though, as we move into 2017. Number 10, Dauntless, Phoenix Labs. Dauntless by Phoenix Labs is a co-op action RPG that I'm very much looking forward to. With developers that have previously worked for BioWare, Blizzard, Capcom, and Riot Games, Dauntless may be as close to a Monster Hunter Online game as we'll ever get in the West. Taking on the role of slayers, players must survive, craft, and hunt their way to survival against huge monsters known as behemoths, either solo or in groups of up to 4 players. While we've seen a bit about this title, including a bit of combat that introduced a stamina system where each of your actions might be limited and must be timed and planned, we have yet to see a full reveal, and we'll have to wait until 2017 rolls around for the official release. Number 9, Master X Master, or MXM, NCSoft. NCSoft initially seemed to be going for the Heroes of the Storm route when it announced this game a while ago, featuring cameos from characters in other key NCSoft titles, maybe not so well-known characters in the West here. This MOBA-esque, but also ARPG-esque game seemed like kind of a quick copy cash-in. But once players got their hands on the title in testing this year, these cameos were seen to be more of a perk than an actual feature, as the game's tag team system allows each player to control 2 heroes. Pairing up the special abilities of these heroes into solid teams will help players progress through the game's PvE content, PvP content, and even co-op modes. While MXM is entering a very crowded MOBA scene, it may just be different enough for you to take a peek at it next year, if you haven't been part of any of the initial playtesting already. Number 8, Smite Tactics, Hi-Rez Studios. Not a lot to say here yet about Hi-Rez Studios and their almost surprise announcement of a new title. Based on the pantheon of gods and goddesses in Smite, Smite Tactics takes the battle to the tabletop in the form of a turn-based strategy game. Initially developed and played on scraps of paper in the Hi-Rez offices, Smite Tactics wants you to command the gods in battle, and closed beta should be starting soon. Number 7, Mu Legend, WebZ. Mu Online players have been waiting a very long time for a follow-up title that was teased in so many different ways over so many years. Finally, Mu Legend hit testing this year and will continue to launch in 2017. Now, WebZ might be taking a little bit of flack on this title, though, as players are sort of mixed over it, with concerns ranging from various Mu Online features that were brought over to other features being totally abandoned. Players are towing the line on if this hack-and-slash free-to-play title really lives up as a Mu Online follow-up in any real way besides name and maybe some story elements. Judge for yourself, though, when the game opens to a larger audience next year. Number 6. Breakaway, Amazon Game Studios. When Amazon announced they would be developing games, the internet really didn't know what to expect at first. Now, with a few titles on display, even if some of them have almost no information yet, gamers are a bit more open to what the company plans to offer. Among the titles announced, Breakaway seems to be a title that we would bet money on being free to play. The team-based combat focuses on taking a relic, basically a ball, and getting it to the opposing team's goal area while protecting your own goal and even building obstacles to ward off the opposing team. Gameplay seems fast-paced, and scoring points isn't the only way to win a round, so skilled teams may capitalize on the alternative winning methods, like wiping out the other team before they can respawn. While it isn't officially free-to-play yet, I can't imagine there won't be some free component to a game that is aiming squarely at the esports scene, with a faster, smoother version of what players wanted Hutball to be. But the Twitch launcher could be a big turnoff for some players. Number 5. Lineage Eternal, NCSoft. Designed as a follow-up to the original Lineage, Lineage Eternal has been plagued by delays and issues, but seems to be on track now as testing has started in South Korea. Featuring a more ARPG design and some very impressive graphics, this title looks to be the frontrunner in the Lineage Eternal, Lost Ark, Mu Legend race at the moment. And with NCSoft dumping tons of cutscenes onto the internet, it's only increased the hype. Will Western audiences see it in 2017? I certainly hope so. Number 4. Battlerite, Stunlock Studios. Battlerite's fast-paced team brawler gameplay surprised me when I did a first look video for the game a few months ago. That's right, if you want to jump in, Battlerite, you could do it right now. But you'd have to pay. The official free-to-play release is scheduled for the first quarter of 2017, so if you want to save some money, wait until then. Stunlock Studios has crafted the game as a spiritual successor to Bloodline Champions, so if you like the top-down look, the fast-paced shooting action, and smaller, quicker battles, Battlerite puts the challenge directly on skill in a pretty pure brawling title. Number 3. Bless Online, NeoWiz and Area Games. Okay, I'm not even going to be coy about this. You totally saw this game coming. There's no way we were going to do a 2017 most anticipated list and not have Bless Online on here somewhere. While some, including myself, may be a bit worried that Area Games will be involved with the Western version of the free-to-play MMORPG, that doesn't totally put a damper on what players see when they look at NeoWiz's beautiful world. While our own Zach Sharps has spent some time with the title already and has concerns about the change in combat design, nothing seems to put a damper on Bless Online followers, and we can't wait to take to the official Western version of the title for a little test drive in 2017. Number 2. Gwent, CD Projekt Red. Alright, I'll admit it. I actually argued against this title being this high on the list, but when I saw the sheer number of Witcher fans liking and following the game on every social media platform, I too changed my mind. While Gwent is CD Projekt Red's first time into the free-to-play end of the pool, I really don't think they could have picked a better project to dive in with. Taken right from the popular minigame in The Witcher 3, Gwent takes the online card game in a slightly different direction with its 3-tier zones and unique mechanics. The game is super easy to learn, but it can be brutal when you make a bad move. And while power scaling was a concern for Gwent fans when the project was initially announced, the development seems to have locked into a monetization model that should keep payers and free players battling it out for quite some time. Beta is currently already rolling and has been for a while, so we should see an official release really soon. Number 1. Revelation Online, NetEase and My.com. And at number 1, My.com and NetEase roll in with Revelation Online. While testing has already started, this game will be coming to Western audiences very soon, and while the shine may have worn off a bit after initial closed beta footage showed off some bugs and very poor localization, subsequent tests have seen somewhat better results and a slightly more polished experience. With nice visuals, fast-paced combat, PvP, world bosses, aerial combat, and more, Revelation Online has captured a really big following. And with launch coming very soon, it's hard to move this title out of number 1. Now we'll just have to see if the gameplay and the cash shop keep players around for years to come, unlike some other My.com titles. Well, there you have it, our top 17 most anticipated free-to-play titles for 2017. With some of the top titles on our list literally right around the corner time-wise, 2017 should start off with quite a big bang for free gamers. But what are your most anticipated titles for 2017? Let us know in the comments below. Until next time, make sure to head over to MMOBomb.com for all of your free-to-play gaming news. I'm Magic Man, and I'll see you on the servers.